Sally Field now reveals the stunning Smokey and the Bandit reality after 45 years. Field recounts the 1977 classic set from Bert Reynolds' drug use to the horrible script she almost rejected. However, the most stunning revelation is why she never spoke to Reynolds for 30 years. Start with the details. In Pasadena, California, Sally Field was born on November 6, 1946. Two distinct people shaped her childhood. Sally's mother, Paramount Pictures actress Margaret Field, introduced her to Hollywood glamour. Her Army officer father, Richard Dryden Field, contributed discipline and organization. Glamour and order made Sally strong and resilient. Sally's parents divorced when she was 4, a traumatic incident that haunted her. Years later, in 1952, her mother married Jock Matham P., an actor and stuntman, but their marriage made her life darker. After years, Sally disclosed in her 2018 memoir Pieces that Mahoney molested her as a teenager. She held this secret for decades, changing her worldview. Sally used acting to express herself and escape her troubled home life at Portola Middle School and Birmingham High School in Van Ness after spending a lot of time on film sets with her mother watching the magic of Hollywood come to life. She learned she was naturally talented. She used acting to cope with her situation. Not only for fun, at 17, Sally attended a high school party that altered her life. She was encouraged by a talent agent to audition for a Columbia Studios acting workshop. It started with this tiny idea. Sally worked hard in the workshop for 8 weeks with other young performers to master acting. Though difficult, the program helped her grow. In this period, she pleased casting director Marcia Levy, who was looking for new TV series faces. Sally's charisma and emotional depth made her stand out. In 1965, Sally led Gig, her first major role. The show was about Southern California surfer girl Frances Gig Lawrence. Although Sally was 18, she defeated 75 other actresses to obtain the part. Her lively delivery made Gig approachable and lovable, especially for the first season of Gig aired in September 1965 and finished in April 1966. Gig repeats were a summer hit, especially with teens surprised many who assumed Sally's career was over. Sally became a sensation and demonstrated she could connect with people after this unexpected triumph. The Flying Nun, a bizarre show that premiered on September 7, 1967, was ABC's next project for her after Gig. Due to her lightness and large cornet, Sally played Sister Barry, a young nun who could fly. The notion was odd, but Sally agreed. Sister Barry was kind and charming, so everyone loved her. After 3 seasons and 82 episodes, the program was a cultural phenomenon, but Sally struggled behind the scenes. Later, she confessed she despised working on The Flying Nun. In her mid-20s, in the early 1970s, she wanted to play mature and difficult characters, but Hollywood kept offering her lovely, innocent roles, which made her upset. Field risked going topless in Stay Hunger in 1972, shocking fans and industry insiders. This didn't prove she could play multiple characters, as she had anticipated. Her image didn't change after the film's poor reception. Field made an even riskier choice. From 1973 to 1976, she refused to pursue sitcom roles, which may have terminated her career, but she wanted to break from her ideal image. Field enrolled in Lee Strasberg's Los Angeles Actor Studio and worked hard and auditioned all day. She considered quitting acting because she was so frustrated. She stated in 1976, "I was ready to work as a waitress or do anything else. I just couldn't stand being trapped in that sugary sweet image forever." Her perseverance paid off, but it left a stain. disclosed her despair and eating disorder throughout this time. The urge to change was too strong, but she persisted. Her performance as Mary Tate, a gym receptionist who falls in love with Jeff Bridges' rich man in Stay Hungry, was a career highlight. Field remarked, "I had never done anything like that before, and I wasn't sure I could." She shed 10 pounds on a strict diet and training plan to prepare for the scene in which she appeared partially naked to seem movie-worthy. First big acting role: Arnold Schwarzenegger as bodybuilder Joe Santo. Field later praised his dedication despite his acting inexperience. Field's performance was praised by critics, with Roger calling her touching and vulnerable. The film earned Schwarzenegger a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, launching his acting career. Field played her most important role, a woman with dissociative identity disorder from severe childhood abuse, later that year. Field studied the disease with a dialect coach and observed psychiatric patients for 6 months to prepare. She took the role seriously because it was her chance to prove herself as an actress. Filming Sale took 12 weeks and 16-hour days for Field. Field dislocated her shoulder, reenacting a terrible memory of Sybil strapped to a table, but she finished the recording. She devoted her everything to the role, determined to shine. In November 1976, NBC aired Syl, which was a hit with over 92%. Critics considered Field's performance innovative, and millions, half the U.S. population, watched it. Sybil's triumph transformed Field's career permanently. In her emotional acceptance speech, she remarked, "This means more to me than I can possibly say. It validates everything I've been working towards for the past 10 years. She transformed from light TV actress to serious and excellent performer. She commented, "It was as if I had been invisible before and suddenly people could see me." Smokey and the Bandit changed her career in 1,977 films. Famous for TV shows like Gig and The Flying Nun, Bert Reynolds, a renowned personality, insisted she take the role. Bert convinced the studio she was perfect for the role, even though they wanted a gorgeous actress. Filming began in Georgia on May 23, 1977, with a $4 budget. Summer temperatures reached 35 degrees for 3 million people. This made filming automobile chases difficult. Even though Bert was 41 and at the pinnacle of his profession, Sally, 30, wanted to prove herself in movies and leave her TV image behind. The set was constantly full of games since Bert loved pulling practical pranks on everyone. The film opened to almost $126 million on May 27, 1977, surprising everyone. It was so successful that Sally got 2 sequels. It helped her transition from TV to movies and started a relationship that would be essential to both of them. Sally subsequently claimed in her memoirs that she and Bert had chemistry and felt like they had known each other for years, despite just knowing each other for a few days. The film's popularity was due to the performers' chemistry, which made their connection feel real. Their romance developed swiftly. Sally liked Bert's confidence and charisma. Bert, 11 years older than Sally, was handsome and magnetic. They spent a lot of time together between takes, and the crew noted their close bond. Bert's co-star Jerry Reed stated, "You could cut the tension with a knife. It was like watching 2 teenagers in love." Despite their initial exhilaration and passion, difficulties occurred. Bert struggled when Sally gained attention because he was used to being the center. At a movie event, fans wanted Sally's autograph more than his, but this was just one of their relationship issues. Sally noted in her memoir that Bert's control was a major issue. She claimed, "From the moment I walked through the door, it was a way to control me." Bert stressed Sally by telling her what to do in her professional and personal life. In 1979, Sally Fields played Norma Ray, changing her life. Big actors like Jane Fonda were considered for the role, but she prepared hard when she got the chance. She spent weeks at an Alabama textile factory to experience it. She did her antics, like standing on a table with a Union sign, fearlessly. That sequence was filmed in a noisy, hot mill, and Sally had to repeat it until it was perfect. The film grossed $22 million, which was a lot back then. Sally's performance was lauded for making her character fierce but vulnerable, making it feel real. Sally received many honors, including her first Oscar for Best Actress in 1980. She acknowledged the movie's director and the real-life woman who inspired her character in her address. This proved Sally could play dramatic roles beyond TV. Sally was excited and nervous because Francis Ford Coppola was at the Cannes Film Festival in France with Apocalypse Now. She even brought the wrong attire for the cool weather, so she had to stay warm in her hotel blanket. Sally was frightened when her festival film screened. The movie concluded with quiet, and she believed the audience despised it, but they rose and clapped for 10 minutes. Shocked, a few days later, she earned Cannes' Best Actress award, demonstrating her brilliance. Her relationship with Bert Reynolds also soured. The couple dated since Bert became aloof and jealous as Sally won accolades and gained prominence. When she told him she was going to Cannes, he rudely said she wouldn't win. As she won additional accolades, Bert sulked and said unpleasant things, and Sally could feel their relationship falling down. The real banger is both men and women. Sally's Best Actress nomination was rejected by Bert before the 1,980 Oscars, worsening things. He even mocked her by telling a magazine that Hollywood didn't value real acting. Sally accepted David and Judy Steinberg's invitation to the nuptials despite her pain. They made the night enjoyable by picking her up in a champagne-filled limo. Bert had to work the Oscar night Sally won. When thanking the movie's crew, she didn't include Bert, showing how drastically their relationship had changed. Things were never the same after a couple more years together. Sally's success had irreparably split them. In 1984, Sally Field won her second Oscar for Places in the Heart, 5 years after winning her first for Norma in 1979. This demonstrated she was a top Hollywood actress. Sally played widow Edna Spaulding in the film 1935. Sally rejected the role 3 times because it resembled her Norma Ray character. But director Robert Benton persisted, even going to her residence and spending hours convincing her to play the role. Living with a Texas family taught Sally how to pick cotton, milk cows, and butcher chickens. Everyone praised her hard work and performance. Sally's Oscar speech was famous. "I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me." People often misquote it as, "You like me, you really like me." She was reacting to critics who claimed her first triumph was luck. This legendary moment is still discussed. Sally's following 2 films, Steel Magnolia, 1989, and Mrs. Doubtfire, 1993, were drastically different. She played Mellon, a mother grieving her daughter in Steel Magnolia. The poignant funeral sequence is considered one of her greatest on-screen. Starring Dolly Parton and Julia Roberts, the film was a hit. It's intriguing that Meg Ryan and Deborah Winger first declined the role. On Mrs. Doubtfire, Sally played Miranda, the mother. She first declined the role, fearing Robin's humor would overpower her, but the director insisted she appear. Improvisation with him made her say yes. In the movie, she stomped on Robin's prosthetic nose, and it adhered to her shoe, which was comical. Profits exceeded $441 million for the film. As she aged, Sally played mature parts. In Forrest Gump, 1994, she played Mrs. Gump, Tom Hanks' mother. Although Sally was just 10 years older than Tom, she played the role well with makeup and clothes. She spent hours in the makeup chair to look older for several sequences. She received a Screen Actors Guild nomination for her excellent work. She featured in Where the Heart Is opposite Natalie Portman. In 2000, A motherly figure for younger actors, she mentored Natalie on spotlight etiquette. In 2002, Sally shocked everyone by starring in the dark and frightening Broadway play The Goat, or Who is Sylvia? Her performance was a hit and proved she could do more than movies and TV. Sally kept going throughout the 2000s. Her performance as Nora Walker on Brothers and Sisters revived her fame. Betty Buckley played Nora when the show premiered on September 24, 2006. The producers wanted something new, so they cast Sally. This worked because she brought Nora to life and made people love her. Widow Nora, her adult children's issues also plagued her. The show had 5 seasons and 109 episodes, and Sally made Nora's loss, self-discovery, and progress feel real. Her performance earned Sally an Emmy in 2007. It was September 16, 2007, during the 59th Primetime Emmys. Her speech made her Soil Emmy win even more legendary after 30 years. She said mothers would end conflicts if they governed the world. After God, Fox, the show's network, stopped her. A heated dispute ensued. Sally's role as Mary Todd Lincoln in Lincoln 2012 was another career highlight. Steven Spielberg considered her for the role in 2005, but the movie changed dramatically. Sally gained 25 pounds to resemble Mary Todd Lincoln and researched her life. She urged Spielberg to allow her audition and acted with Tommy Lee Jones. The highlight was meeting D. Lewis in character and improvising as Abraham and Mary Todd Lincoln for hours. Spielberg and D. Lewis believed she was right for the role. Sally portrayed Mary Todd as complex. Sally's acting was lauded when the film opened on November 9, 2012. She was nominated for the Academy Award and Golden Globe but lost. It was still considered one of her best roles. Sally was inducted into the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2023, one of the oldest and most prestigious organizations in the country. In a 2022 interview, Sally Field disclosed alarming Smokey and the Bandit truths. She said her on-screen kiss with Bert Reynolds was the worst she'd ever had, and that he didn't do it. Fans were astonished when they laughed about drooling, especially because they had terrific screen chemistry. Field admitted in 2018 that she hated the movie after reading it. Reynolds convinced her to participate by stating they could make it work through improvisation. This suggests that viewers appreciated the movie because of their set innovation, not the plot. Interesting that Reynolds wanted Field in the movie. He loved her in Gig, an old sitcom. It worked despite Field's confusion. Really, Gig? That's why he wants me? Smokey and the Bandit grossed $126 million in the US, spawned 2 sequels, and was a 1,970s favorite. Field writes in her memoir that her relationship with Reynolds was instant and strong, making the first 4 days on set feel like 4 years. Not everything was ideal. Reynolds was 41 and Field, 30, noticed his heavy drug use. He took Percodan and Valium and had chest ejections. Field surreptitiously set Reynolds up to meet a Miami Heart Institute cardiologist because she wanted to assist. Even though his health report was good, she advised him to obtain stress and anxiety therapy. Reynolds labeled her efforts self-delusional poppycock. Field called their relationship a perfect match of flaws. Reynolds later apologized to Field, calling her the love of my life and saying, "I miss her. I don't know why I was so stupid." Field said they hadn't spoken in 30 years. In addition, Sally Field was married twice. After dating in high school, she married Stephen Craig in Las Vegas on September 16, 1968 at 21 and 23. Their honeymoon in Jamaica was full of hope, but it didn't go as planned. In their 7 years together, they had 2 sons. Peter, born November 10, 1969, and Eli, born May 25, 1972. Peter became a prominent screenwriter who worked on Top Gun, Maverick, and Batman, while Eli became a director who directed Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Sally and Steven's relationship began to deteriorate despite their parenting successes. Sally subsequently admits she married Steven for the wrong reasons. She feared losing him and wanted stability. Steven left Hollywood to become a hippie, and their sons separated them, making things worse. From Brentwood to Steven's commune, Sally and Steven had quite different upbringings. After their 1973 divorce, Steven remained involved in his son Peter's life. Steven found Peter a hard construction job in Oregon after he dropped out of high school. This highlighted how convoluted but intertwined their family was. Years after her legendary connection with Bert Reynolds, Sally married again on December 15, 1984. She wanted a fresh start, and Alan seemed stable. He produced hits like Fetch and The Bucket List. She had Samuel on December 2, 1987. Sally was 41 and a mother. She was thrilled when Samuel became a writer and director like his parents. She wanted a long-lasting marriage, but this one had issues. Sally remarked, "I'm not very good at marriage," referring to her marriage issues. After almost 10 years together, their hectic work and family life likely reduced their time together. After almost 10 years together, Sally and Alan divorced on June 24, 1994. Sally focused on acting and raising Samuel alone. After performing, Sally became famous for other things. She championed LGBTIQ+ rights after her 19-year-old son Sam came out as gay. She supported him, stating, "Sam has always been Sam." She received the Human Rights Campaign's Ally for Equity Award in 2012 for highlighting LGBTIQ+ people's legal defenselessness in several states. Sam presented the medal and thanked her for her support, especially after he came out. Sally championed women's rights and decried Hollywood gender injustice. In her 2007 Emmy address, she declared, "If mothers ran the world, there would be no goddamn wars," showing her bravery in sticking up for her beliefs. She also considered the environment, participated in protests and campaigns. In 2017, she was detained protesting pre-existing condition-harming healthcare policies.